January, one of the slowest months for YouTubers and media alike. The next thing that really comes out is Dogman, but that's at the end of the month, which is making me run out of ideas in full honesty. Now, if you didn't know, I have actually been playing some Sonic games. As someone who went into Sonic 3 without knowledge of anything besides the previous two movies and a couple of the games, I loved it and started live streaming Sonic Adventure 2 and hope to stream some Sonic X Shadow Generations and pick Frontier up again. My point with this is the blue hedgehog has been living rent-free in my mind for a while now. Upon my second watch of the movie with my wonderful girlfriend who also liked it and was deeply disturbed by Dr. Eggman, I noticed most of the same that I mentioned in my previous video, but I didn't really talk about Sonic as much, and realizing his progression throughout the movie really inspired me, because although it's nothing deep, it's pretty scary, honestly. Now look, Sonic doesn't come jump scare you from out of the screen, and I'm not comparing this to horror like Hereditary or Smile or something, but it's another type of scary. And in order for you to understand, I want you to close your eyes or just look at this blank screen and listen to these voice lines. And I want you to tell me what progressively changes.
Yeah, in my lungs.
Try to keep up.
We need your help.
When has that ever stopped me?
What did you do?
You hurt my family. This ends now.
I didn't jump scare you, so what do I mean by scary? It's easy to explain. I played you clips from the movie where Sonic gets more and more aggressive, and without knowing the context of the scene, you can tell specifically by the voice that something snaps and changes inside of Sonic. Now, is this because the director hired capable and talented voice actors?
Yes, very much so. Take notes, DreamWorks.
But it also comes from good writing, and this is how Sonic the Hedgehog 3 teaches us how to write a fearsome hero. By the way, just to clear things up, this is not arson, it's fearsome. So just remember that that's that. There's no arson in this video. But make sure to check your mailbox because there is a pipe bomb in there. Let me explain this really quickly and not slow burn this like my previous video. Sonic is a hero. That was his whole arc in the previous movie of trying to be a hero and finding out what that means. If I had to compare him to someone, it would be the PG version of Deadpool with a splash of Tony Stark when it comes to personality, but he's just the Flash in terms of some of his power. Now, before you go thinking of that one SpongeBob scene, let me explain what I am applying to Sonic that makes him fearsome. So, Sonic, a playful hedgehog that has the mental age of 13 to 15 years old, is kinda the comic relief most of the time. So what? Am I comparing him to Pennywise? No, that's a different kind of fearsome, where he's actually trying to scare you in order to make you fear him. Am I saying that Sonic is fearsome because he's an alien? No, I mean, if you get to know him, he's pretty friendly. What I am getting at, though, is that Sonic is fearsome because he's usually really friendly and jokes around. But what happens if all of that just stopped? Sonic 3 explores this through the almost death of Tom at the Fist of Shadow. Sonic goes ballistic over this and enters the 5 stages of grief. But what I didn't talk about last time was that Sonic loses his personality that's been built up in the first 2 movies. He all of a sudden gets really hostile towards Knuckles and Tails for trying to keep the oath of hiding the Master Emerald, and even forcefully takes it from Wade, and goes as far to have the intent of killing Shadow. It's a major twist on his character development because he is never like this. Sonic gets aggressive at Eggman in the first movie during the final fight and also angry during the second movie, but he still holds on to his core personality throughout. Sonic holds on to a lot of family values and cares for them all, but what makes Sonic 3 different is Sonic's tone change when Tom gets hurt, which directly breaks a piece away from his family. This anger consumes him. And when Knuckles and Tails refuse to let him have the Master Emerald, another piece of his family breaks because the people he thought would understand him most turn him down. Well, the first time, until they reveal the whereabouts of the Emerald and just give in because he was threatening them. A key element to making a fearsome hero is subverting what you'd expect from a hero. Heroes are usually people that do good, and when someone is in danger, they save those people. I meant to mention this in my previous video, but I finally have a better reason to. I noticed while watching this movie again, the insane comparisons between Sonic 3 and Invincible Season 2. Season 1 has some of the same elements, but Season 2 has Mark go ballistic over Angstrom Levy breaking his mom's arm, and after doing this goes into the same zone that Sonic does. They have the full intent of killing the person that hurt a piece of their family. In Invincible, he actually does this, which only adds to the horror element, but Sonic in the end doesn't, because he realizes this isn't who he is. But that doesn't take away the fact that Sonic was passionate on his mission to kill Shadow, even if he realized that's not what Tom would have wanted later on. It adds on to Sonic in that he can make mistakes too, and will not always make the best decisions. It's a character building technique to further understand the extent that Sonic would go for revenge, whether this does or doesn't come back up in the 4th Sonic movie. There's a time and a place for fearing a hero, but usually that takes place and it can only be accomplished when you get to know the hero and understand what they are against. But when you have time to know, you are able to challenge the hero's belief and explore their character motivations to truly accomplish good character development in the end, as they reflect on their decisions. Alright, now to finish this video off, I spoke briefly on Sonic in my previous video, but I didn't talk about him for that long, so for this video, I'm gonna bring Shadow into the mix to tie this all together with my 5 stages of grief video I made. As I mentioned, Sonic's grief began as soon as he found Tom injured, where Shadow vanishes and doesn't really acknowledge to Sonic that he's sorry or anything. He thinks about Maria, but he just leaves right after that. Shadow is to blame for Sonic's anger, but Sonic is the one to give into it and try to kill him. Something beautiful about the scene on the moon after Sonic accepts his pain is that Shadow and Sonic are just able to talk it out with each other. Now, believe it or not, folks that are still with me, I have gotten comments mentioning that their one talk about this is poor writing. And I find this to be absurd. Sonic's anger came and went really fast because he's supposed to be feared. You're not supposed to look at either of them as the good guys in this fight, but Sonic remembering Tom's words is the reason why he backs off, and Shadow being confused doesn't understand why he didn't just end it. He understands that Sonic took up all of this power just to end him, but he backs out at the perfect chance because that's not who he is. And let me remind you, Shadow is the reason why Sonic got so angry. He punched Tom and knocked him out, unconscious, almost killing him, and he understood that the entire fight why Sonic was after him. So of course, as he notices that the similarities they share suddenly result in the end of the conflict, he's not going to go beat Sonic, but instead, he wants to know how he got control of himself, because if you also forgot, Shadow taking up Gerald's insane plan is because he thought he could trust the one person he knew shared the same pain as him. But Sonic proves to Shadow without directly mentioning Maria that this wouldn't be what she wanted, as Shadow and Sonic come together to agreement of fixing their problems together. Thank you for allowing me to continue this analysis on a movie that a lot of people will sadly just overlook. I love it more and more every day and slowly becoming a Sonic fan, even if I am still new at all of this. Please come check out my next live stream where I will be finishing Sonic Adventure 2's Dark Mode and hopefully ending the game. Thank you everybody for watching. I'm Enchanted. Bye.